Well, you know, James, strategic is an overused word in journalism, but in this case, it's absolutely right. Mazar-e-Sharif is critical. It's been a crucial north-south pathway and an east-west route since antiquity, and in modern times it sits on a road that goes to Kabul. We can show you that road on a map in a moment. And it's on a route that has for many years taken supplies from the north, including from Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, to basically supplies of food, oil, all kinds of other materials have gone through from the north. They've flowed through Mazar-e-Sharif down to Kabul and then on to Kandahar and Herat. So it is absolutely crucial. And I think for the Taliban, there's a very important psychological aspect here when it comes to Mazar-e-Sharif, because when they lost that town in November 2001, it was really the end of the Taliban in Afghanistan at that particular time. That was really the big battle that meant they were going to lose control of Afghanistan. And so I think they'll be looking to very much reverse that psychological moment, just as for them the fall of Mazar-e-Sharif in November 2001 was the end for them. They will want the city to fall, so that this time around Mazar-e-Sharif, the fall of that for the Afghan forces will be the end of them in Afghanistan. So I think there's a very high incentive for the Taliban in that kind of psychological and symbolic and historical resonance to try and take that city.
Okay, well, I mean, when we see the momentum of the last week and the last few days in particular, it seems difficult to see how the Afghan army is going to push back this wave. What about local strongmen and warlords, Armin? Could they have a role in turning the tide, if at all possible to turn the tide at this stage?
Well, I think that was partly what this meeting was about today between President Ghani and local strongmen, including Abdul Rashid Dostum, who's a figure from the 1990s and even before, but he was a key commander in the Northern Alliance, which fought the Taliban in the 1990s. So there's now an attempt to essentially reconstitute the Northern Alliance more than 20 years later, and it is now being called Resistance 2. But the situation has changed a lot, so I think we have to understand the Taliban haven't just simply turned up in northern Afghanistan through their military offensive. They've spent several years in getting implanted essentially in pockets of the north, capitalizing on the grievances of the local populations about government corruption and so forth, and essentially broadening out the Taliban movement to other ethnic groups, because originally the Taliban was a Pashtun-dominated movement, but in the north they've tried to broaden their appeal to other ethnic groups. And the other thing that they've been doing for several years in parts of the north is capitalize on the increasingly bad relations between the central government in Kabul and these local strongmen in the north of the country. In fact, those northern strongmen have been saying for years that President Ghani has been trying to weaken them, and that is something that, of course, the Taliban sought to exploit to the maximum. I'm not sure. We'll have to see whether this resistance to ex-Northern Alliance can kind of overcome that dynamic of recent years and turn the tide, as you say.